Thanks for joining me, Neil. First of all,
Pleasure.
is this just another front in the endless war on the car and indeed people's freedom of movement?
I think it's definitely an attack on, well, I see on people's freedom of movement, but also people's living standards. I grew up without a car. My community, there were, very few people had cars, and that was only 30, 40 years ago. No central heating either. So I think it's a relatively short amount of time that ordinary people have been able to afford such things, and now we're being told to give them up straight away. Because of problems of the climate, and it's what's been announced in Oxford has really blown up. I think if you try and look up the article, the first thing you get is that it's been fact-checked and proved to be false. Facebook are actually stopping the article going up, and really the facts of the meat of the piece was announced in October, that they're, as you say, they're dividing Oxford up into 6 zones that you can only leave a certain amount of times, and Canterbury have announced a similar thing with 5 zones. Derbyshire Council are putting AMPR cameras across the city to monitor people's movements.
What gives them the right to operate like this? Councillors, what gives them the authority to deem whether or not it's appropriate for a private person to go about their business in the way in which they want to do?
I think people have ignored, that people have become very disaffected with local democracy, so they become, there's also almost an attitude of letting them get on with it, as long as they fix the drains and run local services. But things have been really changing over the last few years. They've learned to operate with very few, checks and balances. And I think that they put the cart before the horse, if you like, rather than them being elected representatives answerable to us. We are becoming more and more answerable to them. And they're doing much more authoritarian things. And because it's not on a local level, I think it's going under the radar a little. So I was in Tottenham this week, where there's a lot of low traffic neighbourhoods coming in over the past few weeks. And people there don't know what's going on in Hackney. People in Islington don't know what's going on in Hackney. And I think it's starting to shift now. And I think they've probably done us a favour.
People. To shift?
I think the pro-LTM, pro-road closure, they call it active travel. It's presented in a very positive way. It's about low traffic neighbourhoods. It's about making streets more friendly and safe. But really, the main thing is about climate. I've said from the start, they're not really interested in, safer neighbourhoods or anything. It's about carbon and climate, and we are just numbers to be moved on a graph, really. And that's really, really frightening. But just on these moments like this, when a politician lets slip what they're really doing, and people take a bit of a step back and say, wow, is that what this is about? And the idea of zoning cities really frightens people. It conjures up, Eastern Europe, China. There's something sci-fi about it, isn't there?